At some point in your life, you've probably waited for someone who was late. Or maybe you've been that person. And society is very quick with labels. Irresponsible, disrespectful, undisciplined. But before we judge too fast, I want to slow this down for a moment. Because not everyone who is late for the same reason. And not all lateness means the same thing psychologically. Before saying anything positive, we need to draw a very clear line. Type 1. Late because of bad habits, the negative kind. These are people who know they'll be late and don't prepare. Constantly make excuses. Treat other people's waiting time as insignificant. Feel little to no guilt and don't try to change. Psychologically, this isn't living deeply or moving at your own pace. It's a lack of responsibility, a lack of respect for others, and over time, a lack of respect for oneself. This kind of lateness has no hidden depth. It doesn't express individuality. It simply erodes trust. And to be clear, nothing in this video is meant to defend that behavior. Type 2. Late because they operate differently, often misunderstood. Then there's another group, much larger than people realize. They genuinely don't want to be late. Apologize sincerely. Feel guilty even when no one says anything. Are painfully aware that this is their weakness. They're not late because they don't care. They're late because their mind processes time differently. This is the group we're talking about. And if you're one of them, you probably know the quiet frustration of thinking, I'm not careless, but I keep being treated like I am. Modern society runs on clocks, deadlines, schedules, timestamps. But not every brain experiences time the same way. People who are consistently punctual tend to operate in linear time. Task A, Task B, Deadline C. People who are often late in this second sense live in subjective time. When they're focused, thinking deeply, creating, connecting, time doesn't pass minute by minute. It disappears. Their brain prioritizes. Is this meaningful? Am I finished emotionally or mentally? Over. What time is it right now? This is extremely common among creative thinkers, deep processors, people who easily enter flow states. They're not ignoring the clock. They're losing awareness of it. Another trait that's often misread. These people don't end things easily. Not because they're inconsiderate, but because they fully inhabit moments. They struggle to cut off a meaningful conversation, leave a task half-finished, walk away before emotional closure. To them, leaving on time can feel more wrong than leaving late. So their internal rule becomes, better to leave when it feels complete than when the clock says so. This makes them deeply present, emotionally generous, wonderful to talk to, and chronically late. Their brain doesn't run on checklists. It runs on associations, emotions, context, shifting priorities. They don't think in straight lines. They think in webs. As a result, they underestimate how long things take. They believe they can make it work. They trust their ability to adapt. It's not low intelligence. It's a mind with too many tabs open, and the time tab keeps freezing. Highly punctual people often rely on control. Structure creates safety. People who are often late, in this sense, are more comfortable with uncertainty. They adapt quickly, don't panic when plans shift, function well in complex environments. In creative or unpredictable systems, this is a real psychological advantage, but the cost is heavy. They're living in a world designed for people who move by the clock, not by internal rhythm. Here's the part most people never see. These individuals know they're late, try to fix it, feel ashamed when they fail. They're not careless. They're chronically misunderstood. Many grow up believing, Something is wrong with me. I lack discipline. I'm not built for this world. When in reality, they're simply running on a different operating system. Psychological research suggests about 15–20% of people experience chronic lateness tendencies, even when they genuinely try to be punctual. This isn't just about willpower. It's linked to time perception, circadian rhythms, personality traits. Some people have biological clocks that run later than social norms. Some show different neural patterns in how duration and time are processed. In short, their experience of time is objectively different. These individuals often fall into the planning fallacy, assuming tasks take less time, optimistic time bias, believing they'll manage somehow, and often they do. That success reinforces the belief, I'll figure it out, until one day they don't. Let's be precise. These people are often flexible, creative, emotionally present, resilient under uncertainty. But this does not remove responsibility. Healthy self-awareness means communicating early, respecting others' time, adapting without blaming personality. Difference explains behavior. It doesn't excuse harm. There's an important shift that needs to happen here. Because for some people, being late isn't just a habit. It's a signal that something inside them is constantly being stretched. It can mean they're living in systems that don't fit how they think. They're saying yes to schedules that drain them. They're forcing themselves into rhythms their nervous system doesn't naturally follow. In other words, lateness can be the symptom, not the disease. For many people, they're not late everywhere. They're late in certain environments, with certain expectations, under certain kinds of pressure, which raises a difficult question. Is this a time management problem or an alignment problem? Because when people move into work, relationships, or lifestyles that match how they function internally, something interesting often happens. They don't become perfectly punctual, but they become far more stable, less rushed, less overwhelmed, less at war with time. So sometimes, the most productive question isn't, how do I stop being late? But, what kind of life would make this less of a constant struggle? That doesn't mean avoiding responsibility. It means choosing systems that don't fight your nature every day. And that awareness, that ability to read your own patterns honestly, isn't weakness. It's maturity. Not all lateness deserves understanding, but not all lateness deserves condemnation either. Some people aren't wrong. They're just moving to a different rhythm. And perhaps what they need most isn't more judgment, but clearer understanding. If this perspective resonated with you or made you see someone differently, this channel explores psychology like this all the time. No quick labels, no shallow advice, just deeper ways of understanding human behavior. If that's something you enjoy, you're welcome to subscribe and stay for the next conversation.